Hi, Tactical Chibi here with another video. Today we continue our A2C World Conquest Challenge as the most rich of the costas, Costa Rica. And we will start with the always trusty basic machine tools and electronic mechanical engineering. For building, we will do only civilian factories for now. Lastly, we will go for the focused political effort. Now about the strategy for this game. Since we start as democratic and cannot trigger a civil war, and considering Costa Rica only has half a million pop, what we will do is to flip to communism and get the manpower early, and conquer the other Central American countries to form the Federal Republic. After that we will switch to fascism and make a faction with Vichy France. Then we will use their divisions to capitulate the Allies. And since we don't have the strength to fight the US and the Allies at the same time, the top priority is to capitulate the UK before the US joins the Allies. With the first 150 political power, we will hire the communist advisor. After that, I will go down the industrial focuses to get the research slot. And with the next PP, let's hire the silent workhorse for bigger PP. Gain. For now, in the research, I'm focusing on getting the industrial research, but later I will work on unlocking the equipment. On another note, we need to start getting some army XP. Since I always go for paratroopers and almost never go for marines, it's a good time to go for a change. I got this beautiful event that will help flip faster. For now, I'm focusing on civilian factories to buy equipment from the market, because we don't have any steel and also we will get a lot of military factories from Conquest. On top of that, we won't have a full army to supply for the time being. And luckily, I got a second event to flip even earlier. Since I will go for marines, I will hire the Chief of Navy for the Navy XP. 3 events in one game. If only I had this luck when I really need to flip fast. Anyways, as we flip, we will get the portrait of Marx that spawns 500 manpower out of thin air. Now, to get more manpower, we will start getting the political focuses to get the indoctrination focus, which gives 400 weekly manpower, and we will keep it even if we switch to fascism. At this point, we need to start justifying on Honduras and Nicaragua, and doing it in that order will allow us for a faster justification since Honduras takes more time to justify because they are democratic. On a side note, for doctrine, I will go for the right paths of Grand Battle Plan. Since we will flip to fascism in a while, it's a good idea to remove the communist advisor. Also, I will hold the next focus and wait for the PP to hire the fascist one. For this spirit, I will take theater training to get aggressive assaulter generals and to get terrain traits faster. Anyway, let's get our fascist demagogue and advance through the focuses. And now, let's get generals for our tiny army. Let's put Alejandro Aguilar in charge. Also, I will improve the division template, and 18 with artillery support company for now will be enough. With the war goal available, it's time to declare war on Honduras. With the indoctrination national spirit and the Marx portrait, we get 900 weekly manpower, which is a lot for a country like Costa Rica. Going on, as the justification on Nicaragua finishes, let's start justifying on El Salvador and Guatemala. The goal now is to capitulate these two countries before the other justifications expire. It sounds easy, but we are at a river crossing and in a jungle terrain, which makes pushing very hard with these weak divisions. Because of that, for my marines I will get the jungle specialists. For now, I will leave my infantry pioneers support company just to be able to push easier across the river. But also, I'm training marines to help since my infantry is finding it very hard to push. With the help of the marines, we managed to push, and now capitulating Nicaragua will be very easy. Now it's time to switch the focus to Honduras. By the way, we will put our trusty 1 cavalry battalion to garrison the occupied territories. Sadly, I'm taking too much time to push Honduras. To make things easier, it's necessary to capitulate Guatemala before declaring war on El Salvador. And the reason is they have a lot of divisions in a tiny space. And also because they can join the Japanese faction when I declare war. Anyway, my boys managed to push the river crossing and now we can encircle the enemy capital. since the war goal is about to expire, I had to declare war on Guatemala. The good thing is that Honduras is too weak to keep resisting. Let's secure our army command as the civil war approaches. They got a lot of experience fighting all this time, and every stat and trait will help when we are weak. Given that we will no longer fight on rivers only, let's switch pioneers for engineers. In addition, we will make the marine template bigger. In the Special Forces branch, I will take the left side since I'm going for Amtrax later. That being said, we will need to switch to no garrison for a while to get manpower. Sadly, the justification on El Salvador expired before I capitulated Guatemala. But as long as we capitulate the UK before 1941, we are fine. Anyway, as you see, I did a fallback order to let enemy divisions spread. With that, we encircled some of their divisions. By the way, I'm researching submarine and naval invasion to get into the UK later. Since now we have some time before we get our war goal on El Salvador, I'm going to grind my general traits for a while. Going on, as we get our war goal, we can finish Guatemala. And next, we'll trigger the civil war and finish it fast to get ready to get El Salvador. At this point, let's take war economy, since when we cover Central America, we will have a better industry. At this point, I will proceed to improve relations with South American countries to get land leases from them, and also we will create a faction with Chibi France. Yes, I had to declare war on El Salvador because of my bad decisions. Thankfully, they are not interfering in my civil war. Now, the plan is to let them take the territory to the south and attack their capital when there are less enemy divisions there. I wanted to take Vichy divisions at this point, but Vichy France vanished from this existence for some reason. I've never seen Vichy disappear so early in the game. Sadly, that changed the plan since we can no longer take their divisions to fight the UK. Anyway, after defeating El Salvador, we can reconstitute the Federal Republic and core Central America. I was in utter disbelief with what happened to Vichy France. The new plan will be to puppet Portugal to have a foothold in Europe. Then we will use the puppet divisions and our divisions to go for the UK. Also, we will start building military factories, as well as training more divisions. To make it easier to naval invade Portugal, we will start it from Italy. They always give military access to other fascist countries. And if we plan a naval invasion to their territory, we can plan another from there to Portugal. When our divisions are in position, we will declare war and hope to secure naval supremacy. Next, I will create an spy agency, since it will help with naval supremacy. Also, to make collab operations in China and the US to speed things up. On a side note, I'm researching my way into Amtrax. After a while, we got supremacy on the seas, and our naval invading boys are on their way. I need to speed things up, or I will not be able to get the UK before the US joins the Allies. As they capitulate, we puppet them. After that, I will join the Axis to prepare to naval invade the UK. I didn't join before to avoid that Portugal joined the Allies. We'll prepare naval invasion orders from Denmark to the east side of the island. It took too much time to reach this point, and with that RNG, we might not be able to get the UK before Japan screwed things up. If Vichy France had not disappeared, we would have already defeated the United Kingdom. At least we got naval supremacy in a short time. Since I only have 15 divisions, speed will be the key. I will focus on taking their victory points, and with a little more of luck, the UK will not bring more divisions to protect the island. So far everything is going well. Just a little more and they will be over. That was very good. At the beginning of the naval invasion, I honestly thought I was going to have to restart the game. I think that the fact that they didn't bring divisions to their homeland saved this run. In other news, the next move is to puppet the UK, but since I don't have a lot of points, I will puppet them on a cheap state and annex the rest of their cores. Also, I will need to get some rubber for my Amtrax. Let's hope we can get Madagascar and Sri Lanka. I will not try to get Malaysia or Indonesia as they are too expensive. With my spare points, I will try to get South American states, but the real priority was the UK, because we can use them to get free manpower. The next move will be to help the Axis defeat the Soviets. And after that we will help the Japanese defeat China. With help of the manpower from the UK, I managed to get almost 2 full armies. I'm doing a collab operation on the Soviets, also I will start doing them on the US. As you see, the Soviet divisions are holding strong, but as the German attack and destroy Soviet equipment, they get weaker as time passes. Going back to the manpower thing, if you didn't know, with some countries, if you switch colonial templates to a smaller template of yours, the difference on manpower gets added to your manpower pool. If the puppet gets out of manpower, you cannot get more. In the meanwhile, I will declare war on smaller countries so they join the Comintern. My plan is to create a monster out of Germany, the final boss of Hoi 4. On the other side of the map, I will declare war on China and help Japan. I will focus on pushing where there is supply, and here is where the left path of Grand Battle Plan will help, because it reduces supply consumption. And as you see, I'm keeping my infantry template very cheap and simple. And now I'm going to add an artillery to get a little more of soft attack. With good supply, the Chinese divisions cannot hold against this simple division. For some reason, the Japanese are not filling the front line, which is becoming a problem. Anyway, I have been reducing the UK's autonomy to annex them and get their navy. And I will release them again since they are more useful as a puppet. After clearing these pockets, we will push hard into the last Chinese victory points. Also, at this point I'm going to design an amphibious medium tank for my late game Amtrak division. Believe me that this division will make defeating the Axis very easy. Something like this will be okay for now. It has very low armor, but I just want to get the production going. As a side note, if you want to ask Lend-Lease from someone, ask Argentina. Because since the new DLC, they give just an insane amount of equipment. Not only weapons, but any equipment. Look at that 1k artillery, that is a lot of production cost. Continuing with the Amtrax, let's design a template. I'm producing medium flank tanks for this template, and for now I will only use Amtrax battalions, because I don't have the factories to produce the tanks. As China is very close to capitulate, I will move to take Mexico down since they are on my way to the US. And as China capitulate, my goal here is to make a tiny Chinese puppet. Doesn't matter where, but it needs to be Communist China or China, as they need to core all of China. That way we can fight Japan with the Axis and they will give most of Chinese territory to our puppet. On another note, I'm constantly doing collab operations in China and the US. After defeating Mexico, I'm now preparing to invade the USA. And finally, the Soviet Union capitulates. I wanted to take all of Mexico and Cuba on the peace deal, but Germany really wanted the chromium in Cuba. Now I will need to keep my tanks with low armor. Finally, I decided to fight the US. At this point in the game, they are very strong. But before declaring war, I will train my army for a while, and move the stolen navy to protect me from naval invasions. I'm certainly not going to forget to stop exercising the army before declaring war. And here I am, declaring war while my whole army is exercising. After a week of fighting, I finally realized. Thankfully, my army managed to hold their ground and no division was lost because of my poor decision making. Regardless, now I'm going to counterattack with my strong Amtrak division. While I was struggling against the US, Japan declared war on Germany. If we join the war, hopefully the Axis will do all the work of capitulating Japan and will send China to our puppet. Coming back to Argentina, this is nuts. I think Paradox needs to nerf this.
Nerf this.
Look at the difference with Peru on the lend list. Something is bad with the Argentina's AI. Anyway, let's focus on the US now. Since I got out of manpower, I had to delete some divisions, and for now I will only push with Amtraks. Since I'm completely out of manpower, it's time to focus on tapping into the Chinese manpower pool. Sadly, the trick I use with the UK doesn't work with Communist China. That means that in order to get their manpower, I will need to make tons of their divisions and annex them. The US is very close to capitulate. We need to capture a couple of victory points and they are done. Plus, the Axis are launching naval invasions all over Japan. The US started pushing with all they have, and as I said, I have no manpower left. If we don't finish them now, they may destroy us. I have no time to get the Chinese manpower. I really wanted Japan to fall first to get what the US takes in the peace deal. Well, here you go, USA. In the peace deal, I annexed most of the West because we can take this decision to get chromium. I really need it for my tanks. Later, I will annex all of the US and release a collab government. My next move is to prepare to take down Turkey and Brazil, while Japan falls. As you can see, the Germans give most of the Chinese territory to our puppet. Because I only wanted China, I will just leave everything else to Italy and Japan. Next, we will start preparing to take down the Axis. And the first thing I will need is manpower. I'm going to get all the manpower I can. For that, I will make a full stack Chinese division, and after training a ton of small divisions and switching them to this template, I will annex Comi China and delete all the colonial divisions. And now we have 13 million Chinese Costa Ricans to send to die for our world conquest. Sadly, the collab government didn't work since Communist China was not the objective of them. To make the collab, I will need to liberate nationalist China and annex it. Anyway, I'm going to capitulate some minor countries and come back for the final showdown. Costa Rica versus the Axis. After some years of conquering countries, we are almost ready to defy the Axis. This is my infantry template, But now I will add anti-tank support company and a couple of artillery. At this point I released the US as collaboration government, and also I puppeted Turkey and Spain. At this point our Amtrak division will take its final form. This division is one of the most broken out there. Now let the carnage begin. The amphibious tanks are breaking the German line like it's nothing. In fact, they got too deep into enemy territory and they may get encircled. I'm going to stop there and try to encircle Brittany. For a while I was looking what was going on America, and the troops almost took all of France in 20 days. I have finally cleaned America and now I can focus on Europe. I really needed to take Peru or they could become a mayor. But now we only need to focus on taking down European mayors. Since the Maginot Line is hard to break, I'm going to deploy any airplane that can bomb the forts to get through. In this game I will only use fighters till now. The front lane got a little messy, and the Germans are leaking around Switzerland. While fighting Germany, I didn't notice that my amphibious tanks got almost destroyed in Italy. And obviously, since forgetting things is my style of YouTubing, I forgot to get chromium from the US, and from the start of the war I have not been producing tanks because of that. To mitigate the tank deficit, I will switch the Italian divisions to infantry. Also, I will move the good general with 10 attack to another amphibious tank division. As a side note, these infantry divisions will get destroyed in a while. After a few months of fighting, Italy finally starts to crumble, and Germany should be about to capitulate. And Germany is gone. And Italy got the Civil War event. And they are done too. Thank you game for converting the puppet Australia into a mayor. Well, I always wanted to see a kangaroo in real life. Now Iran joins the make the game longer for no reason party. After a painful year of capitulating Australia and Iran, the Axis finally capitulate and will reign supreme in the world. Now there is only Costa Rica and their puppets. Finally, after annexing the puppets, here is the Costa Rica World Conquest. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and comment below. And if you really liked it and want to help me, please subscribe. I will leave the main template I use for this game at the end. See you in the next one.